Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Hi guys, welcome to Thursday. Today is Thursday, December 10th. 15 days away from Christmas, 2 weeks away from Christmas Eve today. Isn't that exciting? Today we are going to talk about Christmas trees. I've got a tree there, I've got a tree here. We're going to look at some trees, we're going to make a tree, and we're going to read a story about trees. Christmas trees are a very important part of Christmas. Do you remember, go back a week or so, we talked about the shape that a Christmas tree more or less has. Take a look at this one. What shape is this? With the top point, down one side, over to the other, and back up. 3 sides, 3 points. It's a triangle. Now, the other day we talked about Christmas decorations and why they're special and what the different meanings are. Well, Christmas tree has a meaning as well. One of the reasons that we put our Christmas trees up to celebrate Jesus' birth every year is because the Christmas tree kind of represents God and Jesus. There are 3 points, like we said, a triangle which has 3 points. There's God, a point for Jesus, and a point for the Holy Spirit. 3 points, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, one God, one tree. So that's one of the reasons that we put up a Christmas tree every year. Before we get going on our Christmas stuff though, let me see your 5 angels. Help me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 little angels sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are stars in the air." Third one said, "I don't care." Fourth one said, "Let's fly and fly and fly." The fifth one said, "Way up into the sky." Ooh, went the wind and out went the lights. The 5 little angels flew out of sight. All right, we are now ready to talk about Christmas trees. And we are going to start today with a book called Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. Now, there is a TV show, a little TV special about this as well, if you've ever seen that. I've actually never watched it, but I'm sure it's very good because the book and the story is very good. Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. I'm going to come a little closer to make sure that you can see everything. Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree came by special delivery. Full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he had waited for. "A magnificent tree, splendid," he said. "Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here." But once the tree stood in place, Mr. Willowby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. "Oh, good heavens," he gasped. "Something must go." Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. "That's great," Mr. Willowby cried with glee. "Now we can start to trim my tree." When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, "I know just who'd be delighted with this Christmas tree." So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willowby's upstairs maid. "Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid we'll have to go out," sighed Miss Adelaide. Same thing happened to her. This is the very top of Mr. Willowby's tree, but it's still too tall for Miss Adelaide. So she's going to cut the top off. Let's see what she does. And so with scissors sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out the very next day and back of the house to be thrown away. Well, she's just going to throw hers away. That little treetop caught the eye of Tim, the gardener, passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree get thrown out. He hurried it home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. "But our house," she said, "is so snug and small. I do not believe we need it all." And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and she threw it out again. It's got to be getting pretty small. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. "Now who would throw a tree away, so very close to Christmas Day. I'll take it home. That's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've got a present for you. Oh no, does it fit in their house? Still too big. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Mama Bear quite drowsily. Before we go to sleep this year, let's have a Christmas party, dear. But Little Bear, standing not far, cried out, that tree won't hold a star. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off of the bottom here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings. Mama said, trim it just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. The top we won't need anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Okay, who do you think is going to come along now and take it? We've had the maid, we had the farmer, we had the bear. Who's going to be next? Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. What started out as a tall, tall tree is not that big anymore, but it's still enough for some. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the fox saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dear, now don't you worry. I'll fix this top in a hurry. They cut off another piece. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly, Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found? With that he called his family round. Then there was merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot shaking, celebration around the tree. All were happy as can be. You think that's the end of our story? You think the rabbits are going to be the last one? Let's see what they did. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. It's that tiny now that it can fit inside of a carrot for its stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away, the children cried, look, it's leaning off to one side. Still too big. It's too tall, that's all, said Mrs. Rabbit, and as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw out the top. Oh, somebody smaller than a bunny's coming along. Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs, he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. It's just the right size, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willowby? Isn't that really special how so many different creatures were able to get a Christmas tree out of the one Christmas tree that Mr. Willowby had in his house? Well, right now I would like to make a Mr. Willowby tree with you guys. What you need for this is simply a paper plate and a pair of scissors. And then it's up to you. If you want to color it, I have a marker here. You can paint, you can use crayons, whatever you'd like. But here's how we're going to make our Mr. Willowby tree. We made an angel last week out of a paper plate by kind of making a triangle, kind of a wedge. We cut up into the middle, and I stopped at the middle. Then I turned it a little, and like I said, I kind of made a triangle. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go to the same place, and then I'm going to get this wedge out. And that's where we stopped for our angel. Well, today, I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to cut straight up here. So when I'm done, how many pieces do I have of my plate? I started with one paper plate. Now I have one, I have two, and I have three. These are going to be our Christmas tree we're going to put together. Now, a Christmas tree typically isn't white. Usually they're green. So that's, like I said, I have a marker that I could start coloring this in green. But earlier, I went ahead and did the same thing, and I painted. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Now, this is how we're going to make our Mr. Willowby Christmas tree. we're going to take each piece and you can put them together. Let's start here like this. Mine's still a little bit wet, so I'm still going to get a little green on me. I'm going to piece mine together like this. Now there are many ways you can piece them together to hold them together. You can use tape, you can use glue, you can use staples. If you have Velcro, you can use Velcro, because then if you use Velcro or tape, what you can do is you can take your Mr. Willowby tree. Well, first of all, you can trim the tree. Do you remember them saying they were going to trim their tree? That means decorate it. If you have stickers at home, you can put them on and use them as ornaments. Now, because it's a Mr. Willowby tree, I want mine to be able to come apart. So when I put mine together, I'm going to use Velcro. And then I can take off the top of my tree and I could give it to Adelaide the maid. She could take off the top of her tree and she could give it to Mr. Tim the farmer. You can use as many paper plates to make as many layers as you want, but you can make your own Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree by doing a plate in 3 pieces and turning it green. And then, like I said, putting it together however you want. If you want the pieces to come off, then maybe tape or Velcro would work. If you want them to stay together, then you can use glue or scissors. And then decorate it with stickers, maybe put a star at the top. But that can be your Mr. Willowby Christmas tree. All right, I got to get the green paint off of my fingers because I have a couple more Christmas tree activities that I want to do with you. On the internet, your grown-up can print off for you a paper that looks like this. It's got several green rectangles on it, okay? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do you notice about those rectangles? Take a look at them for a second. What do you notice? Does each one get smaller, bigger? Does it stay the same size? As you go down the line, each one gets bigger, doesn't it? It gets a little bit longer. So what you guys can do is have your grown-up print this off, and then you can cut these out, which I've done on another sheet already. Let me show you. And then you can take either a stick like this and some glue, and you can glue them on, which we'll do together in a minute. Or you can take a piece of paper. I'm going to use this as my paper. And you can line them up to make them look like a Christmas tree. So I am going to start with this strip right here, and I'm going to put him here. Okay. Now the next one I have is this one. So tell me, is this one I have now, is it longer or shorter than the one that's on there? Let me put them next to each other. It's longer, so should it go up high or should it go down below? Well, Christmas tree gets fatter at the bottom, so this one is going to go down below. Okay, let's try another one. How about this one? Is he longer or shorter? Shorter. Is he longer or shorter? Shorter, so he's going to go up here. Let's try this guy. Is he longer or shorter? He's shorter, 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 so he's going to go up here. Are you starting to see the shape of a Christmas tree? I have 2 more pieces. Uh-oh, shorter, 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 shorter. He goes right here. We're putting these in order. I have 1 more piece. Is this going to go at the very top, do you think, or the very bottom? He's the shortest piece, so he's going to go all the way at the very top. So I put mine on here. Like I said, you can put them on paper if you want to, or you can take, if you have a popsicle stick, we're going to do the same thing with the same pieces. I'm going to take my popsicle stick, and this time I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to put a little glue here. Actually, I'm going to put glue up and down. I don't need to go each time. And I'm going to take my pieces, and I'm going to put them in order that they go, except they don't want to come off. Let's see. Okay, so actually here's the longest one. So he's going to go on the bottom. And then I just keep working my way up until I get to the smallest piece at the top, and I have a Christmas tree. Let's see. So again, that piece of paper is on the internet. Your grown-up can print it off for you. You can cut it, and then you can decide what is the right order for them to go into, and you can put it on a stick, on a piece of paper, whatever you'd like, and you can have your own Christmas tree. There we go. So you can make a Mr. Willowby tree, and then you can cut this out and order a Christmas tree. 1 more Christmas tree with several different activities. Let's pull my board over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see here. This is something else that your grown-up can print off for you on the internet. Now, I printed mine off on green paper. This is what it looks like on the internet. It's on white paper, and it needs to be cut out. But then that's not all there is. This also comes with 2 pages of Christmas stars that have numbers inside of them. So this would be a great thing. If you have an older brother or sister, this would be a great thing to have them help you with. They can help you cut these out because it's a lot of cutting today, isn't it? And again, if you don't have green paper, you can color it. You can use a colored pencil, crayon, and marker, and color your tree green. And then if you want to color your stars yellow, I printed mine on yellow paper. So speaking of the stars, let me show you what we're going to do. There's a couple different things. Inside this box, I have all the stars that I printed and cut out. So I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to pick one star out. And I got the number 9. Now, funny thing with the number 9, if I turned it this way, I have the number 6. But I'm looking at it this way, so I have the number 9. Now, here's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my number 9 up here on my sticky paper. And I am going to count 9 Christmas tree ornaments. Now, just for extra fun, I've got a pair of tongs. I'm going to see if I can pick up my ornaments. This is what I'm using for ornaments, fuzzy balls. And I'm going to put 9 on there. There's 1. Oh, 2. They may not stay on my sticky paper. My sticky paper isn't so sticky anymore. Let's try it this way. 1, 2. No, they don't want to stay. 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, you get the idea. Inside the box, I have lots of different star numbers, and I would count how many ornaments to put on. This one's a little easier. This one might stay. I have 1 ornament here, so I'm going to change my star and put the number 1 up there and put 1 ornament on it. The numbers go from 1 to 10, so make sure you have 10 ornaments around, and then find your star and count the ornaments and put them on your tree. Okay, now I said there was more than one thing we could do with this. Now what I could do is I could take all of my stars out. They're all mixed up. They're not in any kind of order, but I could put them in order. Let's see how I can do with that. I'm going to start with the number 1. I'll put them down here. Okay. The next number I have is the number, oh, I got lucky. Number 2. That will go next door to that. Let's see which number I get next. I got the number 10. 1, 2, 10. That's not how we count. So I'm going to put that down here for now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put him next to there. 1, 2, 3. Let's see who's next. I have the number 8. Do we say 1, 2, 3, 8? No, but I do know that 8 comes before 10. So I'm going to put it like that for now. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That works. Let's see who's next. Oh, the number 6. Okay, I'm about out of space, so I'm going to move my 10 way over here. I'm going to move my 8 over here. I'm going to put my 6 right here until I need them. Let's see, I have 7 next. Where do you think I should put the 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7? No. What about here? 6, 7, 8. I'll put it in between the 6 and the 8. Couple more. I have the number 5. That goes after 4. And then what number am I missing? Let's count and see what I'm missing, and let's hope that's the star I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. Let's make sure you can see all of my stars. There we go. So you can use the stars to tell you how many ornaments to put on the tree. You can use the stars to put in order. Now, here's a challenge. If you have an older brother or an older sister, here's something they could do with the stars. You can pick 2. Let me take the 8 and the 2. And you can ask them to add them together. How much is 8 plus 2? If they're even older, you can say, okay, guys, how much is 8 times 2? And then you can pick 2 new stars and have them keep doing problems like that, okay, doing some math problems. Why not? They helped you cut it out. Make them work a little bit more, too. All right, guys, I think that's all the Christmas tree activities I had for you today. You can go make your paper plate. Let me grab that again. You can make your plate, Mr. Willowby tree, with your 3 sections of paper plate that you stack. You can order after you cut out. You can order and make a tree. And then you can also do the stars and the ornaments in the Christmas tree counting over here. That's it for Christmas trees today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and we are going to do something messy and fun together. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.